I was in Rio for Rock in Rio this year on the 25th of September. I only know that because my birthday is before it, the 24th, and we were there. Direct support for Metallica. There was 150,000 people. I think at that time that was probably our biggest show. I don't know. I'd have to add up all those big festivals that we headlined and stuff. I don't know. I had met with Lars and asked him politely if he would be interested. And I asked him because of my understanding and respect and my love for his love of loving art. He is a serious artist, and he loves art like I love it. I've watched him collect art and sell art and, obtain other art and be in the art world, from the outside looking in. And I thought, this is perfect because he'll be someone that understands me, or not understand me. And, I'll ask him. And so I asked him, and he said yes. And I was like, man, it's going to be such a fucking honor. I can't believe it. So there was a show called Master here in LA where you had to pick a Metallica song and make a piece of art that was inspired by the band, the lyrics, the music, all of it, none of it, and express something in a piece of art. So I picked Damage Incorporated because that's like the first Metallica song I heard. Someone who introduced me to it, it was that placement of time. I had walked in on that, and that was my first impression. I'll never forget that, and it's still one of my all-time favorite Metallica songs. So I made this sculpture, and it's like 7 foot tall or some shit, and it's got like rotting deer heads and World War II jacket and 40 porcelain baby arms that I hand painted over like 2 months. I lit the whole thing on fire, and I had an iPod shuffle in the back playing a loop of the intro, the guitar swells, looping for like 10 minutes in the back with these headphones that were reversed, playing it. So when you walk by, you're like, is Damage Incorporated playing? You're like, what is happening? And it's really small, but it's so big because you're like, this thing is talking in music. And I had all these knives that they didn't want me to put on because they were afraid Lars or anyone in Metallica who came to the show were going to cut themselves. I'm like, they'll understand. They'll be like, that's some clown shit. And they'll be like, ow. And they'll be like, what? And they'll be like, it's clown sculpture. Damn it. It's some clown shit. I'm all right with it now that I know it's clown, but that sucks. So, I was there like 2 hours before the show screwing in 2 knives because they told me I couldn't. I'm like, that's bullshit. These 2 knives belong in the front, and I'm going to pull my sculpture from this damn thing if I don't. So I just pulled it out in the parking lot thing, and I drilling these knives in. And I was supposed to protect them all with like a little piece of styrofoam. Like I was going to do that. I just left them exposed, and all night, some cocky LA people would come up to it, and I just watched their gestures and stuff. I'm like, excuse me, because they're real close to my shit. And I'd be like, excuse me, you're about ready to stab yourself? And they'd be like, what, who are you? And they look down, there's this rusty-ass knife, and they're like, whoa, he wasn't kidding. And I'm like, be careful, man, just be careful, And they'd be like, I'd be like, what, I was hoping there was going to be some blood, and maybe summon something out of this thing. But, I thought I'd save you from yourself. And so Metallica showed up, and Lars came, and he had said that he knew my piece was there, so he saved me for last. And we spent like a half an hour or something, and it was, I don't want to say what he said because it was he and I, and he was just, I don't know, man, it was a very beautiful moment in my life. Explaining a piece of art through me to him because we're friends and I respect him so much, and that's why I gave my version of what it was, because I know his version's different. And it inspired him to write what he wrote for me, and it was that moment, I guess he had his epiphany about what's going on with my book, and he took that moment, which was about sculpture, and about his band, you know, and he arrived at the end, which is about my book, and I'm just like, you know, he's in one of the all-time greatest bands ever created, and he's one of the best drummers of all time, and here he is taking time in reality to talk about my God, art, pain, being born, knowing that, you know, death is more proof than God, and that's where I'm going. And there are people that are buried with markers that have been in the ground longer than I'm ever going to be alive. So there's answers there. So when that time comes, that's what we do as humans. That's what we chose.
I dig that, man.